Hi, Pete's fans. Welcome to another episode of For Pete's Sake, your weekly podcast on everything Peterborough Pete's. I am your co-host, Josh Reeser. As always, in the chair next to me, my twin brother, co-host, Encyclopedia of OHL Knowledge, Matt Reeser, and we are celebrating another win, a Pete's victory, this time on home ice, and a pretty good week of hockey for those Pete's. They also picked up another point in a shootout loss. We will have all that action for you recapped as we highlight a strong showing for the Peterborough Petes. But we are back in the win column, and I am hoping that leads to more just down the road. A win is always an exciting thing, and it certainly is for this fan base and these boys. Let's keep it going. You know what time it is. When we get a win, we Ric Flair.
Woo!
Oh, you can do better than that. Let's give it a Ric Flair. Woo! Woo! We got a win.
Against Northwood.
Many more of those against the Battalion. We also have some other player news for you. We did have a trade this week. We'll quickly go over that. We have some unfortunate injury news. It does happen. And we're missing one of our goalies. We'll update you on that story. We'll take a look around the OHL, see how some of those other clubs are doing, and the Petes don't have much time to breathe. They got another busy week with 3 games coming up, 2 of those being some pretty big rivals from the past. So, without further ado, let's get the show started. We will start with our player and personnel news. First of all, unfortunately, like I mentioned, an injury. It is Zach Bowen, the goaltender. He suffered a leg strain injury in the Owen Sound attack game. And according to the Peterborough Examiner, the local paper here in Peterborough, it is not the knee he had surgery on last year, but don't expect him back for a couple of weeks, likely not before Christmas. So that means we are going to see some Easton Rye action and some Mason Johnson action in net. Easton Rye will have to be the guy stepping up, and so far, we'll get to him a little bit later on, but so far I like what I see. So you never want to see a player go down, but it's a chance for the other guys to get an opportunity to step up. And both goalies, local Peterborough kids. I don't know when the last time that happened is, but your 1A and your 1B goalie are both Peterborough kids, so that's exciting. And we hope that the Petes can find success in the meantime. And we hope that Bowen heals quickly and fully and can be back in the net, because he has been a strong goalie for the team so far. And you never wish hurt on anyone. The next one is a trade. I don't know if it's surprising. Lefebvre, one of the overagers, Chase Lefebvre, traded to the Brampton Steelheads for a conditional 11th round pick in 2028. Perhaps, perhaps coming a little while now, because after we made the trade for Gavin Bryant, there was 4 overagers again. He seemed to be the guy that was scratched the first couple games, kind of that odd man out. They were going with Malee, Bryan, and McIntyre. I don't have any inside information as to whether a trade was requested. I can't say. I don't know. He certainly was, when he was back in the lineup for a couple of games when McIntyre got suspended. It didn't look like he was dogging it out there. It looked like he was still trying hard. It's tough to see a guy who worked his way into the lineup go. Lefebvre, came in as kind of a 4th liner. He was a 15th round pick. He issues hard work and his trademark speed to find a place on the team, and he actually became a regular in the lineup during the final month of that championship season, and then played pretty much throughout the playoffs in a role, and looked pretty good. And then last year kind of took a step as more of a leadership guy. His offense was picking up. He started the year, leading the team in goals, and he looked like in preseason a guy that was just scoring at will with his speed and his shot. So he's off to Brampton, a chance to, have another playoff run there. He's going to join a team that had pretty strong aspirations. They haven't really hit their stride as much as people would expect, but he'll get to play with Porter Martone and some good players there, and some teammates from the past. He played with Van Steetzl for a very short amount of time, and also Stevie Lefebvre on defense on Brampton as well. So, it's tough to see him go. I initially, the return caught me by surprise a little bit. He's an overager, so you're only getting him for part of a year. That can decrease the amount you get back. But a conditional 11th rounder in 2028 for a guy that, was up there on our team in goals both last year and this year. He's got speed for days, plays penalty kill. I don't know. I was disappointed in the return. I'll say that. I get the move in the sense that you want to solidify your team, your chemistry. You want the other three guys that are overagers in the lineup each and every night. But it seems like we kind of just sent them away for not much of a return, if I'm being honest. So I'll continue to trust, the management and they led us to an OHL title less than 2 years ago. I'm not about to question them now. I thought they had a strong trade deadline last year, bringing in all the younger guys, but I thought it was a curious move to only get that back. I thought maybe you hold on to him for a bit longer. Maybe teams get desperate towards the deadline. Maybe the price goes up a little bit. So I don't know your thoughts on that, but it seemed a little bit of a disappointing return for a player that I think has a pretty big upside and could have, maybe helped out the boys. So I don't know. Your thoughts on the Lefebvre trade?
Yeah, for me, it's like he's a player that I don't know if you're going with over a Malee, a McIntyre, or a Bryant. Those are like Wilson players.
Yeah.
They're textbook players that he would love.
Yeah.
They're big, they're physical, they like to get on the body.
Yep.
They like to go to the dirty areas, and Lefebvre's more of a straight line, dash around guys with his speed.
Yeah.
He will hit guys, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think he's suited for, I think, any team, but I think for a team like the Petes, he kind of was the odd man out when the other three are kind of the textbook of what a Wilson player is.
Yeah, like a two-way.
Yeah, and you're not gonna sit your captain.
Yeah.
You're not gonna sit a guy you just traded a second-round pick or a third-round pick.
Right.
And McIntyre's been scoring the most consistently on the team for the last. So he was the odd man out, and I think that hurt the return because the other teams know they can throw low ball offers, and they're probably going to get them.
Yeah.
I think Lefebvre's worth more than what they got, but I think they're kind of backed into a corner, and they're like, we want him to play. He deserves it. Yeah. And let's get something. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, the Petes have done pretty well in the later rounds of drafts. They've got some steals.
It's true. Yeah, and the pick, maybe it doesn't turn into nothing, but I think what you mentioned is kind of what just caught me off guard. Like, we traded for Gavin Bryant, who's an overager.
Yeah.
And we gave up a third.
Yeah.
And then we trade our overager and we get an 11th. Like, I don't know why there's a discrepancy there when I think, their offensive potential is similar. Lefebvre maybe even a bit more.
Yeah.
I've liked Gavin Bryant's play, but I don't think he's 8 rounds of draft pick, higher in trade value. So that's all I'm saying with that one.
And it takes away our size.
Yeah.
Because he was one of our bigger forwards, and now it's really only McIntyre and Fitzgerald that are bigger up front, and you're kind of... But that's how the game's going. That's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's nice to have some size on the boards.
Yeah.
And I think you'll miss Lefebvre the most in like those 4-on-4, 3-on-3 overtime kind of games.
Yeah, with his speed and but like I said, I'm trusting the Petes, the brain power on this one. We wish Lefebvre all the best, and we will see him again against the Petes end of January. There's a home and home against those Brampton Steelheads. So let's make sure we welcome him back. Even though we'll beat the Steelheads that night, let's welcome back Lefebvre. He had 3 years with the Petes, even more in the organization, but 3 years where he was a part of the team, and he was a part of that winning championship team. So
and he got in a fight in his first game with Steelheads.
Absolutely.
He got in a fight.
Some snarl.
Not even the with puck dropped, so he got thrown out, but he still got
He's
that.
got some snarl and some passion in him.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll move on to our recap of the week. After that, that preamble with a couple player news and trades. They started the Pete's started their week against the Brantford Bulldogs. So why don't you tee us up, take us through that game, and then the following couple games against Kingston and North Bay.
Yeah. So to me, they played 3 games. They only won one of them. They grabbed another point in a shootout, but they easily could have won all 3 of these games. Mm-hmm. I think it's the first week I can say that they have done that this season. Mm-hmm. The Brantford game, they lost 5-2, but they deserved a better fate in this one. Anyone that was at the game will tell you that. They outshot them 15-6 in the first period, 45 shots in the game. Mm-hmm. So they outshot them 45-36. And 2 of Brantford's goals were like an odd bounce off the board that went right to a guy standing into an open net, and he just shot it in.
Yeah.
So like 2 lucky bounces and an empty netter. That's 3 of their goals out of the 5. You have to be in the right position to get to those bounces. And I would argue that the Petes kind of tied the game up at 2 and then sat back a little bit. But they had so many chances in this game. They were dictating the play. Those 2 bounces seemed to kill them. And Brantford had their right guys that found the puck. Like Nick Lardis is second in the OHL in scoring. He scored 2 goals in this game.
Yeah. Former Pete. Yeah, he's having quite the year. Yeah.
But Malee scored. He got on the power play, which is good. Aiden Young scored. It was actually one where he sold the pass so much that the goalie went across and he just shot it into the empty net. That's the skill he has, is people don't know what he's going to do, and he's starting to read goalies better. So nice to see him get on the board again. Easton Rye, this was actually his first career home start. He played pretty well, and he actually got an assist in this game on the Aiden Young goal. So he gets an assist, and he played well. So that's all you can really ask from Easton Rye. Mm-hmm. And then the Pete's actually injured 2 Bulldogs players off hits. Luca Testa and Dylan Shima. I don't even know how to say his name. Shirna. Yeah. And they both left the game, didn't come back. And Carson Cameron actually left for a shift or 2 and then ended up coming back. He took a high hit. So good he wasn't injured. But it was a very feisty game. The first whistle, face-off on the opening draw, was like 2 guys slashed each other's in the hands, and then they dropped the puck. So like you got the idea it was going to be a spirited contest. And it was, and the Petes dictated the play, and they just those 2 bounces hurt, especially when you're fighting so hard to get back in the game. Mm-hmm. But it was, I think, 11 minutes left in the game, and it was 2-2. So yeah, they're right again. They were there, and then they just tied it at 2 and kind of collapsed and said, "We're going to hold on to this." And then Brantford was all over them and put one in the net, and then they just never could find the back of the net again.
Tough one.
But it was a tough one. But again, good signs. I don't know when we'll say the Petes get 45 shots again. But they dictated it. They played well in front of their goalie. Mm-hmm. Large stretches outplayed. Yeah. I'd say one of the top teams in the East. So a lot of positives to take forward from this one.
Agreed.
But yeah, no time to kind of rest. They go up to Kingston the next game. Mason Johnson gets his first start.
I've been waiting for that. Yeah. I've been waiting for when they're going to give Johnson a shot at the net, and I was happy to see it come in Kingston. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, so first period was back and forth. They saw them trade goals, so Kingston went up 1-0. Then Peterborough tied it. Fitzgerald got back in the lineup after a suspension and scored. And then the other team scored, and then Page got on the board and had the game tied at 2. And then Kingston regained the lead partway through the third, but again, the Petes didn't go away. Gavin Bryant scored again, which is nice to see. He seems to be kind of finding his game. Mm-hmm. Well, he's coming back from an injury, so he's kind of getting more and more. He's always been effective, but now you're kind of seeing why he was the leading scorer for the Niagara team last year. Yeah. And then overtime solved nothing, but the Petes had the first 3 guys from Kingston in overtime on for 3 minutes straight because they couldn't get the puck off the Petes in overtime. Yeah. Like they were hemmed in, and they just couldn't get that goal.
Yeah, just couldn't buy one.
But again, the power play was good. They got 2 of their 3 goals on the power play, the Petes in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to a shootout. And this is where I felt bad for Johnson because he stops all 3 shooters.
Yeah, mighty impressive.
Yeah.
Like, that's got to be so tough for a rookie goalie.
Yeah.
3 straight players from Kingston, who's a decent team this year, like coming down on you, and you hold your own 3 times.
Yeah.
You just need one of your guys to score and bail you out, and unfortunately we could not.
Yeah, so then it goes to a 4th round, and their 4th shooter scored.
Mm-hmm.
None of our 4 shooters scored. They had some chances. I think Taylor was probably the closest.
Yeah.
But overall, Johnson played well.
Amazing.
28 saves, 31 shots.
Yep.
And then, like we said in the shootout, he stopped Battaglia, who's like a top 10 point getter.
Yep.
Grondin, who had 2 goals in the game.
Yeah.
Soto scored on him, but it was like a seeing eye shot.
Right.
There's nothing you could do on it. But it would have been nice to see them kind of tuck in one of those first 3 and give them a victory, but they get a point.
For sure.
And it's his first start, so you can't be too upset about it.
No, not at all. Not at all. I saw very good things.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I think he's a goalie of the future, and I hope they give him some more starts going forward.
Yeah.
In light of this injury for Bowen, especially.
Yeah. And then you have your 3rd game in 3 nights, which I thought the Petes might be a little tired.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Someone forgot to tell them that they should come out tired, and that they're playing a decent North Bay team.
Yeah. So Easton Rye played in this one spectacular. 42 saves on 43 shots.
Yep.
McCallum got his first goal of the season off a beautiful Liam Ladd's move. He dangled around their forward and over to him and into an empty net. Gavin Bryant scored for the 2nd straight game.
Yep.
Aiden Young got one disallowed, but then he's 2 minutes later, don't matter, I'm just going to roof it.
Score another one, yep.
So their penalty kill was great in this one. They killed 4 of 5 power plays, and one was in the final 5 minutes when it was 3-1, and it could have got easily to 3-2, but they hemmed down in their own end, kept the shots out wide, blocked some shots, and just got the puck out. And then McCallum scored into the empty net again, and you got yourself a 4-1 victory. Mm-hmm. And that's their first home win since last March. So it's been a while for Pete's fans and for the Petes, but not for a lack of effort. And it was nice to see them get rewarded in this one for the 3 games, because, again, they could have got 3 wins, and it's nice that they got a regulation win to kind of round out the week. And hopefully that carries in as they go on to the next kind of games before Christmas.
Absolutely,
it's a game you can build on
for sure. I say week you can build on. Yeah, getting that point, like you said, could have won all 3.
Yeah,
you get 3 points. Shootout could go either way. Yeah, I think it's a strong week for the Petes. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah. And then it was also a double teddy bear week, where if they score each 2 bears per goal.
Yeah.
So we got 18 bears added to the total.
18 bears.
And now we're at 67 bears.
67 bears will be donated on December 5th. That game's coming up.
3 games left till the teddy bear toss.
3 more games. Get out there, get your bears, and get ready to make them rain down on the ice very soon.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Well, overall thoughts on the week, like I said, I think this is a hugely strong week.
Yeah.
You saw it in the OHL power rankings. We're actually back in.
Yeah.
We have 2 wins on the year, but we're recognized with such a strong week that the OHL is actually giving the Petes credit, and we're into the top 16. We're 15th. We're ahead of North Bay. We're ahead of Guelph.
Yeah.
I think the Sarnia Sting is another team we're ahead of, but they're recognizing that the Petes, their ranking, like we've said from the start, I don't think dictates what this team can do and should be doing, what their potential is. I think they've had moments where they step off the gas just at inopportune times, or they get a bad bounce. But we can play with good teams in this league. We can play with teams we should beat. For whatever reason, it just hasn't been going our way. But maybe it's about to change. A very solid step in the right direction. Especially, the Petes had some excuses. Our goalie's gone. We just lost one of our overagers. Maybe it's the Petes have a week where you think maybe they can take a step back and they decide, you know what? We're going to press on. We're sick of losing. And I think, a very strong showing. So very impressed. A couple things. It was mentioned in the Examiner. The Petes pick up on fan support. especially when fans, depart when the game's not over. I know it's difficult watching your team lose. I know have been some ugly performances. We don't have a great record this year, but support those boys. It is still a super entertaining night of hockey. The boys absolutely love it when the rink's electric. It makes them play better. We've got some big games coming up we'll highlight later in our show. Spoiler alert, one of them against the London Knights. So make sure we pack that rink and get loud. There'll probably be some fans from the other team coming, and we don't want them coming into our barn and making it a home game for the other team. It needs to be, the Memorial Center needs to be a place where the boys feel like we have their back no matter what. We support our boys no matter what. So make sure you continue to support them till the final puck drop, because they work hard, they earned it, and they definitely feed off that. So keep that in mind. We've done a good job supporting the boys going forward following the high of that win a couple of years ago, but keep it going and support them no matter what. Taylor, Bryant, McCallum line. It's a line they've kind of thrown together since the trade. I like the looks of it. I think it's a line that, has a little bit of everything. You got a two-way forward in Bryant. You got some snarl in McCallum. And then, Taylor hasn't really found the net as much as he did earlier in the year, but he's got that quick release. He's an offensive-minded goal scorer. So I hope they keep that together a little bit longer. I know you got to, with injuries or how guys are playing throughout a game, you reward some guys who are having a hot night, but I'd like to see where that line can go. I think it's got some potential. Those full 60-minute games, it's crucial we continue to have those. That kind of cost us the game against Brantford. There was just a couple shifts where they weren't quite following maybe their details as much as they needed to, and then a team with a scorer like Lardis and O'Brien, hot sticks there, they're gonna make you pay. But I think we're getting closer to those 60 minutes. I think we're seeing stronger games. I think the game they lost in the shootout to Kingston, they fall behind but they come back. They fall behind again, come back. They fall behind a third time and come back. So they're not giving up. That resiliency is there. So I think they're getting closer to that full 60. And I think once they do, we're going to see more wins like they did the following night against the North Bay Battalion. So That is what. Any thoughts for you on this week? I rambled a bit there, but very encouraged. I think it's lots of positives going forward.
Yeah, they're not scared of their competition.
Yeah.
They're competing. Mm-hmm. I think I'd like to see. I think McCallum might get jump started, because last year at the end of the year he was scoring like 2 goals a game.
He ended the year with the most goals.
So maybe this is him starting to ratchet up and start getting some goals. Bryant scored in 2 straight games. Yeah. Aiden Young starting to be dynamic. He was already dynamic, but he's starting to kind of put those in the back of the net now.
For sure.
Absolutely. I'm really curious if Addy will get going. He's all over the ice now. He's finishing his checks well.
Big body.
I'd like to see him just get one and kind of get that confidence.
Yeah.
But other than that, not a lot to complain about. Fitzgerald scored again.
For sure.
Ula is playing well on the back end.
Yeah, I like those guys. Yep.
So there's lots of signs that this team can go in the right direction.
Yep.
Now you just got to prove it, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Time to walk. Anyways, 3 stars of the week. There's a lot of guys we could have actually given shout outs, so it was hard this week to pick because there were a lot of good efforts, which is a good problem to have. But we're going to start off with my boy Quentin Page, number 1, a goal and an assist against Kingston. Continues to work hard, just a real leader on the team. He's given it everything he has. He has not at all been the reason why the score is where it is. Continues to kind of be a heart and soul guy, a good leader for the young guys. So we're recognizing him getting rewarded with a goal and an assist in that Kingston game.
Second, got both goals to keep it close.
Yeah, his line was buzzing, and like Matt said, a big reason why they were able to come back and make that game as close as it was. Second up, Mason Johnson. We mentioned he gets his first OHL start, and he was on 28 saves on 31 shots, and as impressive to me, maybe even more so, 3 straight saves in the shootout before giving up a goal. I hope, again, like I mentioned before, I hope they give him a couple games. I would like to see what him and Rye can do back there in the crease. And he's a guy I've been intrigued of since he got drafted by the team. I think potentially a goalie of the future, hometown kid, and let's get him going, and hopefully he can build off that and have some strong showings going forward. And third, we're giving Captain Jonathan Malee another shout out. Goal versus Brampton, assist versus Kingston. He picked up his 100th career point. A guy that works hard both ends of the ice, continues to play hard and lead by example. A captain of this young team. And if I'd like to give a shout out, if possible, I know there's only 3 stars. I got to go Easton Rye. Yeah. Last year I was a bit critical on him. I didn't think he was showing that he was a goalie that could be, a big contributor for the Petes, and I'm happy I was wrong. He did have that big game against London last year, and then he had some results that weren't great later in the year. So I was a little bit hard on him, but I am so happy that he is getting his chance. Local kid, he's been on the team for a couple of years waiting for his chance to show what he can do. Gets his first game in front of a home crowd, doesn't disappoint, and then he gets the first win of his career, first win of this year, first win on home ice for the Petes this year against Brampton. So good on you, local kid. I know he's great. He goes around to a lot of the younger, like minor A or minor AAA teams for practices and stuff. So I know he's a great community guy. Seems like a great character kid. I'm so happy that he's getting to play and having the results. I hope that continues. Like we said, we don't wish an injury on anyone, but I'm happy that it's given him a chance to show what he can do. So good on you, Easton Rye. You're making me eat my words, and I'm very happy. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to take us around the OHL? What's the news out and about? Other teams. What are we seeing, Maddie?
Yeah. So Saginaw is now the top scoring team in the entire OHL. Mm-hmm. They're just lighting up the score sheet.
Yeah.
9-3 win, an 8-1 win. Then they had a 6-5 game against London. Their offense is just taken off to new levels right now. So curious to see what it does for them. They've kind of shot back up the standings. They had a couple rough weeks, but now they're really rolling. Sudbury is actually winning some impressive games of late, so another Eastern Conference team that's not going away. They actually have beaten Windsor and Niagara, 2 of the upper teams in both divisions. So again, they're starting to move up the standings. Like we said, the East is so tight. It's going to be a battle to get out of the East this year. And then 2 former Petes. We already mentioned one. Nick Lardis is scoring 2 goals a game, almost averaging lately. Had 2 back-to-back hat tricks in 2 of those games.
Yeah.
But Sam McHugh actually from Owen Sound has got 2 multiple goal games, and he's up to 17 goals already this year.
Wow.
So he's doing well.
Yep.
And then you had a battle between Windsor and Kitchener go on, and Windsor actually beat Kitchener, but it was 3-1, and both goals were late in the third period. It was tied at 1. So you're looking at a potential kind of Western Conference final or semifinal game, and those 2 teams didn't disappoint. They look like they're upper echelon teams. And then London, like we said, 15-game winning streak, which I think leads to my question. Do you think there's a stronger conference this year? And if you do you think which conference has the best team? Because I would argue the East is stronger.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the standings, 1 to 9 is 9 points difference or something between the top and the lower team.
Yeah.
And it's 4 points between 6 and 9 or something, or 5 and 9.
Yeah.
The teams are so Steelheads are in 9th place right now, and they have 21 points or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's never a team at the top forever. It's Kingston one week, then it's Niagara, then it's then it's Oshawa, then it's Sudbury, then it's the East is a battle. But I just don't know if is Windsor or London or Kitchener the best team in the OHL.
I mean, you can't ignore a 15 game win streak, unfortunately. I hate to say it. I think, recency bias, you got to give the top team probably to London. I think Windsor's up there. I think some of the top teams are in the West, but I agree with you. I think the depth in the East is so strong that it's going to be a dogfight, like right till the end. I think teams that we thought would be stronger, like the Steelheads, I think they're going to turn it on, and I think so. It's going to get even more jumbled in there. Crazy thing is, like, the Petes go on a run. They're not even out of it. Like they could sneak into a spot with a really strong second half. So I think it's intriguing in the East for sure. But I do think the top teams are in the West this year. And then I think the overall conference, in terms of depth and excitement and how much of a dogfight and how close it is the Eastern Conference this year. So that's where I'm at.
Because in the West, you can kind of go into Sarnia, Flint, Guelph, or Owen Sound and feel pretty confident you're going to win. Where in the East, you can't go into any barn. And feel like you're going to win. Even the teams that beat the Petes, it's been like 1-goal games, 2-goal games.
Well, the amount of games too where they've lost by one or lost with an empty netter, and then the amount of games that they lose in a shootout, where it's just close. Like if they ended up winning the games that have gone to a shootout instead of losing, like they're not that far behind. So I think you're right. I think there's more games in the West perhaps where teams go in super confident, whereas the East you have to bring it every night. So I think overall stronger in the East, strongest teams coming from the West, and unfortunately I think it's those nights. A couple quick things if I can add. I just looked it up today. We mentioned a while back that there's that new rule with NCAA teams allowing kids to come to the OHL, so we are seeing the effects of that. A couple signings. The Sarnia Sting signed forward Liam Beamish out of the Boston College, or sorry, not Boston College, BCHL. So he was playing there, and he's actually committed to Penn State and is now signed with Sarnia Sting. So back in the day, wouldn't have been able to do that, but now can join the OHL. There was also another signing, the Erie Otters, 18-year-old forward Callum Hughes out of the BCHL as well. He had 24 goals in that league last year and was named to the all-rookie team, so looks like an intriguing prospect. He's also committed to the NCAA as well, and so this wouldn't have been an option for them. But now these guys can come over and play in the OHL. So maybe the Petes get on that bandwagon at some point and start to bring some players over. We'll have to see what happens. But just a couple signings I saw. Maybe that news starting to take effect. Anyway, let's look at the week ahead. So Pete's 3 more games this week. First one, I am looking forward to this. The London Knights are coming to town Thursday night. We beat them. It's eerily similar to a game last year. Last year, the Knights, strong team. They went to the Memorial Cup, didn't win. Fantastic news there. But anyways, they were strong. They're strong again. Last season, had a 14-game win streak. We're just beating everyone. The Petes went down to London, if you remember. Easton Rye started. They played one of the games of their lives, and they came away with a shootout victory. It was McCallum beating them in the 3rd round of the shootout to end that streak. And it was awesome. I remember watching that game. Matt and I were texting back and forth, and we were just like fired up, sending each other the Ric Flair woo memes through right after the game. We were hyped, and that is a game I'll remember forever. Every game we beat the Knights, I think I remember forever. But this year, 15-game win streak, and it looks like none other than Easton Rye will probably be the starter again. So eerily similar there. They're coming in looking like a team that just beats up on everyone. They have Easton Cowan on a 54-game point streak. They have the best power play in the league. Their back end is producing points. There's Sam Dickinson's actually leading their team in points. He's an NHL draft pick. They also have 3 other defensemen in their top 6. So they're a team that's super strong. I don't like London at all. They're my least favorite team. It's not even close, but they're a strong team. There's no way around it. So, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it's so eerily similar, last year's game and this year's game, and I really hope the outcome is the same. I wonder if London's even remembering that and thinking, oh no, we got to see the Petes. The Petes battle us hard every year, every game. I wonder if they're even thinking that at all. I wonder if they're nervous, and they should be, because I think the Petes are going to win this one. I just had that feeling. They're going to come in. Fans, get down to the Memorial Center. Let's hype up the boys. This is a game. I want to see lots of excitement, and I want to see the Petes pull it out. So that is Thursday night. Friday night, they head to Ottawa 67s. This is the first meeting of the year for the 67s and Petes. It seems a bit late in the year, but it's just the way the schedule's gone. They got off to a slow start, but since Brady Stonehouse is back, he's been a thorn in the side of the Petes for a couple of years now. They're actually playing above 500 hockey again. They're kind of a team that most of their games are decided by 1 or 2 goals. They've given up the second fewest goals in the Eastern Conference. So the Petes that haven't scored a ton of goals until this past week, their offense is going to have to come alive if they got a chance of beating those guys. The Achilles heel of the 67s is their penalty kill, which operates below 70%. So hopefully the Petes can make them pay with a special team advantage there. And then on Sunday, it's an afternoon game. It is Faith Night at the Peterborough Memorial Center. The Petes will take on the Niagara Ice Dogs. Second meeting of the season. Last one was a shootout for the Ice Dogs, 2-1. We'll get to see a matchup between our first round pick this year, Colin Fitzgerald, and the guy who went right after him, Brady Waslin, to go head to head. They're a very high skilled team, lots of firepower. They have Kevin Yee, and is it Dylan Robrick?
Yeah.
I can't remember his first name. Robrick. But they do give up a lot of goals. They've given up the third most goals in the Eastern Conference, so there is a chance to get a little bit of some offensive mojo going again in that game. So looking forward to 3 very intriguing games. The first 2, like we said, against some rivals from previous years, and then another one against Niagara. So make it out to those 2 games if you can, definitely against the Knights. And then for Faith Night, it is an afternoon game, like I said, on that Sunday. Let's support the boys. I think we can have another impressive week here, maybe even go 2 of 3 or 3 of 3 and really kickstart this thing. So I'm looking forward to some more Petes hockey.
Yeah, and London will be down potentially 3 forwards.
That's true.
Because Haltonen is pending a suspension.
Yep.
For a hit from behind. Bolton is pending a suspension, and Cowan actually sat out on Sunday.
Yep.
With an injury. So if he's still injured, they might be down 2 of their better forwards.
Doesn't matter. We'll take him.
But
yeah, absolutely. I don't feel bad for him at all. Yeah. Well, anyways, that does it for our show for today. We hope we see each and every one of you down supporting the boys. 2 games this week. Follow the team on the road if you can for that road game in Ottawa. As always, you can find our show online on Facebook, on YouTube, and we'll have all the information on Instagram at for PTB Pete's Sake. If you want to listen to the audio, you can find it on Spotify. We will have the link posted on our social media page as well. So get out there, support these boys as November ends and it turns into December, and let's ride this momentum, have another strong week. I hope you guys all stay safe and warm out there. And as always, go Petes, go!